Okay, so you're aiming for the NDA, the CDS, the AFCAT, or really any of the SSB interviews, right? There are some real make or break moments in that whole process.
Oh, yeah.
And one of those is that dreaded word association test.
The WAT.
The WAT, yeah.
Yeah.
You got 60 words flashing on screen, just 15 seconds each to build a meaningful sentence.
Rapid fire.
Yeah, it's like your brain's doing Olympic sprint.
Absolutely.
And, if you're looking for more tips and strategies on how to approach the SSB, and particularly around the English language aspects of it all, you might want to check out my YouTube channel.
Okay.
It's called Officer's Voice, SSB, English and Strategy.
Good stuff.
That's right. So today we're diving deep into the WAT.
All right.
We've gathered some really insightful material that are specifically designed to help SSB aspirants
Okay.
kind of crack the code on this thing and develop strategies to actually tackle it.
I like it.
So think of this as your express lane
Okay.
to understanding the WAT inside and out.
All right.
So our mission today is pretty clear. We want to equip you with the knowledge and the techniques
Yeah.
so that you can face that WAT.
Yeah.
Not with fear,
Right.
but with a plan.
Good plan.
Okay, so let's unpack this thing. What makes the WAT tick?
Well, on the surface, the mechanics are really quite simple.
Okay.
You got 60 individual words, and they're going to come at you one by one.
Right.
Each time you see that word, the clock starts ticking. You've got 15 seconds.
Yeah.
In that 15 seconds, you got to read it
Okay.
and then build a sentence using that word.
Okay.
And then that happens again and again for all 60 words.
15 seconds feels like almost nothing.
It does.
What's the logic behind such a tight time frame?
That constraint, that time pressure, it's deliberate.
Okay.
What they're trying to do is minimize the chance that you're going to overthink things or, try to be too clever or craft some kind of perfect response.
Okay.
What the assessors are looking for are your spontaneous, unfiltered reactions. That first meaningful thought that pops into your head when you see that word.
Okay.
And the thinking is, this reveals a lot about you.
Yeah.
It reveals how your mind works, your natural inclinations, your general attitude
Okay.
towards the world.
Right.
And these core personality traits that are so crucial for evaluating potential officers.
Right.
So you can almost think of the WAT as a kind of quick snapshot
Okay.
of your internal operating system.
Right.
Are you naturally oriented towards solutions, growth, positive action?
Okay.
That's what they're looking for.
So it's more than just like, can you string an English sentence together?
Way more than that.
What are they really getting at here?
What they're really trying to understand is your mindset.
Okay.
Are you by nature optimistic or pessimistic?
Okay.
Do you tend to be proactive and action-oriented?
Yeah.
Or more passive in your responses?
Okay.
Do your sentences offer glimpses of those officer-like qualities?
Those OLQs, yeah?
Yeah, those OLQs things like leadership, potential, responsibility,
Yeah.
courage.
Okay.
It's really about getting a sense of who you are at your core.
That is really interesting.
It is.
You start to see those 15 seconds in a whole new light.
Yeah.
I know there are some myths floating around out there about the WAT.
Oh, yeah.
What are some of the things that people tend to think are true but really aren't?
Probably the biggest one is this idea that there are definitively right and wrong answers in the WAT.
Right.
It's simply not true.
Okay.
It's not a knowledge quiz.
Right.
There's no predetermined correct answer.
Okay.
Instead, what they're looking at is the overall pattern of your responses.
Yeah.
The general trend.
Okay.
And that's what gives them those insights into your personality and your thinking style.
So it's more about the collective impression rather than getting every single one perfect.
Absolutely. It's about the big picture, not about individual sentences.
What about that thing where people think they have to use the fanciest vocabulary?
Yeah, that's another big myth. People think that they're going to impress the assessors by, busting out the thesaurus.
Right.
But in reality, clarity and simplicity are far more valuable.
Why is that?
Well, because when you're under that pressure with that 15-second clock ticking,
Yeah.
if you're trying to build these super elaborate sentences, you're more likely to make grammatical mistakes.
Okay.
Or you're going to lose the clarity of your meaning.
Right. Right.
And remember, they're looking for spontaneous responses.
Right.
So just ditch the thesaurus focus on expressing a clear and meaningful thought directly.
Okay, so ditch the thesaurus, authenticity, clarity.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's talk strategies.
All right.
When those 15 seconds are counting down,
Yeah.
what are some actionable techniques that we can use?
Yeah. The key here is to train your mind to think in certain helpful patterns.
Okay.
Okay. So our first big strategy is to really emphasize action-oriented sentences.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
It means thinking about verbs that show somebody doing something,
Okay.
active verbs,
Right.
because assessors, they want to see that you're proactive, that you take initiative.
Okay.
And your verb choices are a big part of that.
So give me an example, like a clear contrast between what not to do and then what we should be aiming for.
Okay, let's say the word is bravery.
Okay, bravery.
Right. A less effective response might be something vague like bravery is good.
Okay.
Doesn't really show bravery in action, does it?
No, not really.
A much better approach would be something like brave soldiers defend the nation with pride.
Oh, okay.
So there you've got the active verb defend.
Yeah.
You've got a clear context.
Right.
That illustrates bravery in a tangible way.
I see that. Okay, so action verbs.
Yes.
What's another key strategy we can put into practice here?
Number 2, consciously try to incorporate those personal and leadership qualities into your sentences whenever it feels appropriate.
Okay.
Okay, and this is a way to kind of give those assessors a glimpse of those OLQs
Right.
in your responses.
How do we weave those qualities in without it sounding forced or unnatural?
It's subtle. For example, let's say the word is friendship.
Okay, friendship.
A very general response might be, friendship is important.
Right. Very generic.
But you could frame it as a true friend supports in tough times.
Okay, I like that.
Now you're implicitly highlighting qualities like loyalty, supportiveness.
Right.
These are positive interpersonal traits that are really valued.
That adds a nice layer of depth.
It does.
What about the structure and the tone of our sentences?
Yeah. So that brings us to strategy number 3. Aim for short, positive, clear sentence structures. Avoid those long, convoluted sentences. They can trip you up grammatically under pressure.
Okay.
And really try to maintain an overall positive tone.
Can you speak to that a little bit more? Why is that positive tone so important?
Yeah, well, let's think about the word success, for example.
Okay, success.
Somebody might write, success comes only after hard struggle.
Right.
Now, while it might often be true,
Yeah.
that you have to put in a lot of effort.
Yeah.
The word struggle, it just has a bit of a negative connotation to it.
Right.
A better alternative with a more positive framing would be success follows consistent effort.
Like that, yeah.
So it's a similar idea, but with a more optimistic outlook.
Right, right.
And that subtle shift in wording can make a difference.
Yeah.
It signals a more resilient and hopeful mindset.
Absolutely. Okay, so what's strategy number 4? What else can we do to give us an edge here?
This one is super relevant to anybody who's aspiring to join the armed forces.
Okay.
Try to connect the words to the armed forces context whenever it feels natural to do so.
Give us a concrete example. How can we do that effectively?
Okay, let's take the word discipline.
Okay, discipline.
A basic response might be discipline is good.
Right. Very basic.
But if you relate it to that military context, you could say, an Army officer maintains discipline in every situation.
Okay.
And that shows you understand those core values and the ethos of the armed forces.
Right, it's a very direct link. It is.
And our 5th and final key strategy.
This one's crucial. Really try to avoid expressing self-doubt or hesitation in your sentences.
Okay.
Even if a word throws you off for a second,
Right.
try to frame your response confidently.
Okay, so how might self-doubt kind of sneak into our WAT responses?
Well, let's say the word is failure.
Okay, failure.
A response like failure makes people sad, that's focusing on a negative emotion,
Right.
and it comes across as a bit passive.
Yeah.
A more constructive approach would be failure is a lesson for future success.
Okay.
So now you're reframing failure as a learning opportunity.
Right, yeah.
And that's a much more desirable trait in a potential leader.
I see that. Yeah. So reframe it positively.
Exactly.
Okay, those strategies give us a really solid framework for thinking about the WAT.
Right.
But let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
What are some of the common pitfalls that candidates often stumble into?
Yeah. What should we be trying to avoid?
Exactly. What are the mistakes? Well, one really common mistake is constructing those negative or passive sentences.
Okay.
Assessors, they want to see that proactive and positive mindset.
Right, right. And we talked about that a little bit before.
We did.
Can you give us another example of a negative sentence and then how we can rephrase it in a more positive and proactive way?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's say the word is accidents.
Okay. Accidents.
Someone might write, accidents cause injuries.
Right.
A more effective response would be, following safety rules prevents accidents.
Oh, okay.
So now you've shifted the focus from the negative outcome,
Right.
to a positive action that can mitigate risk.
Right.
That proactive framing is key.
Okay.
It shows a solution-oriented mindset.
Yeah, very good. So that's pitfall number 1, negative sentences.
Yeah.
What's another common pitfall we should be watching out for?
Mistake number 2, overcomplicating your sentence structure
Okay.
in that high-pressure test environment.
Right.
Trying to build these really complex sentences.
Yeah.
It can lead to grammatical errors.
Yeah. Okay.
And it can make you lose clarity.
Right.
Remember, short, clear, direct is usually the most effective approach.
Okay. So let's see that illustrated. Can we see an overcomplicated sentence and then a better, more concise alternative?
Absolutely. Let's say the word is courage,
Okay. Courage.
right? Someone might write, courage is something that is essential to overcome challenges in life.
Right. Kind of wordy.
It is a bit wordy, isn't it?
Yeah.
A much more concise and impactful alternative is courage helps overcome challenges.
I like that a lot better. Yeah.
It's direct, and it's much easier to form quickly.
Under pressure.
Right.
So keep it short and sweet.
Yes.
Okay. What's mistake number 3 that candidates should be aware of?
Oh, this is a big one. Relying on memorized sentences.
Oh, right.
You know, some candidates, they try to prep by memorizing a set of generic sentences
Okay.
that they think they can apply to a bunch of different words.
Right.
But experienced assessors, they can spot these rote responses from a mile away.
Right.
What they want are those genuine, spontaneous thoughts that really reflect your individual personality.
So you're saying all that effort memorizing stuff, it could actually backfire.
It really could.
Okay.
A much better use of your time is to practice that process of quick thinking
Right.
and rapid sentence formation.
Right.
Don't memorize phrases, train your brain.
To come up with stuff on the spot.
On the spot, exactly.
Okay, that makes
Right.
a lot of sense. So what's the 4th and final mistake that we should try to avoid?
This one's pretty common too. It's simply defining the word instead of actually expressing a thought or idea
Okay.
that's associated with it.
Right.
Remember, the WAT, it's not a vocabulary test
Right.
in the traditional sense.
Right.
It's about those personal associations.
Okay.
How you connect with that word.
How you connect it. Okay, so how can we clearly see the difference between just defining a word and actually expressing a thought that relates to it?
All right, let's take the word honesty.
Okay, honest.
So just defining it would be something like, honesty means telling the truth.
Right. Very basic.
It's accurate,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really tell us anything about you, does it?
Not really, no.
A much better alternative would be something like, honest officers gain people's trust.
Okay.
So now you've expressed a thought.
Yeah.
You've connected it to behavior.
But you've even kind of tied it back into that
Exactly.
officer context.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that a lot. So avoid just defining the word.
Yes.
Okay, so now comes the fun part.
Right.
Let's actually put these strategies into action.
Okay.
Let's run through some example words
Okay.
and see how these principles can be applied.
I like it.
All right, so I'm going to present 10 common words, one after the other.
Okay.
I want you to take a brief pause,
Okay.
just a few seconds, mentally form your own sentence
Mm-hmm.
using that word, and then I'll share what I think is an ideal response.
Right.
That kind of embodies those strategies we've been talking about.
I'm ready.
Okay, are you ready to put your thinking cap on?
I am.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
First word is leader.
Okay.
Okay, think about it.
Right.
Suggested response is, a leader guides his team to success.
I like it.
So notice that active verb,
Yeah.
guides,
Yep.
and that positive outcome, success.
Okay, good.
Okay, next word, strength.
Okay.
All right, few seconds.
It's all right.
What do you got?
Okay.
Okay. Suggested response is, inner strength helps overcome any challenge.
Good. Again, focusing on that personal
Yes.
quality
Yes.
and its impact.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, word number 3 is unity.
Okay.
All right, what do you
No,
think?
it's done.
Okay, suggested response. Unity among soldiers ensures victory in battle.
Nice.
So here we have that connection to the armed forces.
Direct connection. Good.
Okay, number 4, happiness.
Okay.
What do you got?
All right.
Okay, suggested response. Helping others brings happiness,
Very good.
highlighting that positive and altruistic action.
Absolutely.
Okay, word number 5, hard work.
All right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, hard work turns dreams into reality.
Good.
Positive framing,
Yep.
clear outcome.
I like it.
Okay, it's word number 6, nation.
Okay.
What do you got?
Okay.
All right, suggested response. Serving the nation is the highest honor.
Excellent.
Boom, right back to that SSB
Makes
context.
sense.
Okay, word number 7, discipline.
Okay.
What did you come up with?
All right.
Okay, a disciplined person achieves their goals easily,
Nice.
focusing on that positive outcome
Good.
of discipline.
And I like it.
Okay, word number 8, fearless.
Okay.
What you got?
All right.
Okay, a fearless officer leads from the front.
Good stuff.
Again, connecting it to leadership in the armed forces.
Absolutely.
Okay, just 2 more. Word number 9 is courage.
Okay.
All right, what did you come up with?
Okay.
Okay, courage helps in facing challenges boldly.
I like it.
Action-oriented sentence.
Yep.
Positive tone. Okay, and our final word number 10 is respect.
Yeah.
All right, take a second.
Got it.
What do you got?
Okay.
Okay, respect is earned through actions, not words.
I like that a lot.
So expressing a thoughtful idea
Yes.
related to the word.
Good stuff.
Okay, so that was a really good little practice exercise.
It was.
How should our listeners kind of reflect on their own sentences
Yeah.
compared to those examples?
The main thing is to analyze, were your sentences action-oriented?
Okay.
Generally positive in tone.
Yeah.
And did they implicitly reflect those positive personal or leadership qualities?
Okay.
Don't worry if your sentences weren't exactly the same as mine.
Right.
The point is to grasp those underlying principles
Right.
so that you can construct those effective responses quickly and spontaneously.
Okay, great. And speaking of adding a little something extra,
Okay.
let's move on to a segment that I think can really boost your performance in the WAT.
Right.
It's all about expanding your SSB relevant vocabulary. Are there specific types of words that would be really good to kind of have in your mental toolkit?
Yeah, absolutely. Having a broader vocabulary, especially words that relate to positive personality traits, leadership qualities, resilience,
Good.
that can be super advantageous.
Why is that?
Well, it lets you express your thoughts more precisely and more effectively in that really short time frame.
Okay, so let's introduce some of these words.
Right.
What's our first vocabulary word, and how can we see it used in a good WAT sentence?
Okay, our first word is pragmatic.
Okay, pragmatic.
Pragmatic, and it describes somebody who deals with problems in a sensible and realistic way,
Okay.
rather than just relying on theories or abstract ideas.
So practical.
Very practical. For example, you could say, an officer must be pragmatic in decision-making.
Okay.
So that demonstrates that practical and grounded approach.
Shows that real-world focus.
It does.
Okay, what's our next word?
Word number 2 is altruistic,
Okay, altruistic.
which means showing a selfless concern for the well-being of others, putting others first.
Okay.
So an example sentence could be, altruistic leaders put their team first.
Okay, so highlighting a really positive leadership quality there.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, very good. Okay, what's number 3 on our list?
Number 3, decisive,
Decisive, okay.
which means having or showing an ability to make decisions,
Right.
to produce a definite result.
Okay.
So an example sentence could be, a decisive officer acts quickly in critical situations.
Okay.
You know, essential in those high-pressure moments.
Absolutely vital. Okay, next up,
Our fourth word is meticulous.
meticulous.
And this describes someone who shows great attention to detail.
Okay.
Very careful and precise. So
Okay.
you could use it like this: meticulous planning leads to mission success,
I like it.
underscoring that importance of thoroughness.
Yeah, attention to detail really can make a big difference.
It can.
All right, what's word number 5?
5 is astute.
Astute, okay.
And it means having or showing an ability to accurately assess situations or people, and then use that to your advantage.
Okay.
So a sentence could be, an astute cadet learns from every situation.
Okay.
So showing that ability to learn and adapt.
Very good. What's next on our list?
Number 6, resilient.
Resilient.
Able to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions.
Okay.
So for example, resilient people don't fear failure.
Okay, really important trait for overcoming setbacks.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely crucial for long-term success.
Absolutely.
Okay, word number 7.
7 is eloquent.
Eloquent, okay.
Fluent or persuasive in speaking or writing.
Okay.
You could say, an eloquent speaker inspires confidence.
Okay, I like it highlighting that power of communication.
Yes.
Being able to articulate clearly is so key.
Absolutely.
What's word number 8?
8 is tenacious.
Tenacious, okay.
And it means tending to keep a firm hold of something,
Okay,
clinging or adhering closely.
okay.
So you could say, a tenacious soldier never gives up,
Very good.
showing that grit and determination. Yeah.
Unwavering.
Yes.
Okay, 2 more to go. What's number 9?
9 is vigilant.
Vigilant, okay.
And it means keeping careful watch for possible danger or difficulties.
Okay.
A relevant sentence could be, soldiers remain vigilant at the borders,
Okay.
emphasizing that constant awareness.
Always prepared.
Yes.
Okay, and finally, our 10th vocabulary word.
Our 10th word is perspicacious.
Perspicacious.
Yes, it means having a ready insight into and understanding of things.
Okay.
So an example sentence could be, perspicacious leaders foresee challenges early.
Okay, so that ability to anticipate.
And plan ahead.
Yes, very good. Okay, so having an understanding of these types of words, I mean,
It helps.
it can add a little extra polish to our WAT responses, right?
It can.
As long as we're using them naturally and appropriately, of course.
Exactly. It's not about forcing these words in
Right.
to every sentence you create, but having that broader vocabulary, it gives you more options
Right.
to express yourself accurately.
Right.
And it can subtly reflect that deeper understanding of these important qualities.
Okay, so that was a really fascinating deep dive into the WAT.
It was.
Let's quickly recap some of the key takeaways.
Okay.
So we've learned that the WAT, it's fundamentally about revealing your thinking process
Right.
and your personality
Yeah,
through these rapid responses.
exactly.
It's so important to strive for spontaneity,
Yep.
maintain that positive outlook,
Yeah.
and really focus on those clear, concise, action-oriented sentences.
Absolutely.
And I think the big takeaway here is it's not about finding the right answer.
No.
It's not about impressing them with big words.
Nope.
It's about showing them who you are.
It is.
So avoid those negative sentences.
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate the sentence structure.
Keep it simple.
Steer clear of the memorized phrases.
Right.
Express your genuine thought.
Absolutely.
And really try to connect with the word.
Connect with it.
Don't just define it.
Yeah.
And perhaps most importantly, practice makes perfect.
It does.
Consistent practice using these strategies
Yeah.
will really help you improve and feel more confident when you face that WAT
It will.
in the real SSB. So keep exploring the resources.
Yeah.
Practice diligently.
Keep practicing.
Stay focused in your preparation.
Absolutely.
And this raises a really interesting question that I want you to think about,
Okay.
beyond our discussion today.
Right.
How can framing your thoughts in a positive and action-oriented way,
Yeah.
how can doing that consistently, how can that not only help you in the WAT,
Right.
but also in your everyday life
Absolutely.
and in your future as a leader?
Such an important point.
Think about that connection, and we wish you the very best
We do.
in your SSB journey.
Best of luck.